welcome to another episode of The Spin. Wow, man, wow. It's been a crazy, crazy week so far. Dealing with, uh, dealing with this election fraud, the censorship of pages on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, all the social media networks, all the social media platforms, excuse me, as well as the dissemination of our faith and all that stuff like that. I just hope you had a nice day today and have a good get ready for Thanksgiving, even though they're trying to tell us how to do that and stuff like that. And also welcome to those that came in, and this was going to sit back, get a little bit more people in, and we'll get this. Wow. Wow. All right, in case y'all haven't heard and stuff like that, Giuliani and the lawyer staff of the Trump administration, I say about an hour ago or a couple hours ago, they had a press conference dealing with all their findings they had for this election fraud. Now, a lot of people in generalization, they really think that okay, Biden won because the news said and all that stuff like that. But the electoral actually really didn't vote. I mean, that's how it works. There's no the legacy media has no reason to. I mean, it has no power to tell you what the president is, who the president is, or who's the actual presidential, what they call it, the presidential, well, they did it, nah, he's ain't a candidate anymore, the president-elect, excuse me. So I had a Joe Biden moment, excuse me for that, because a lot of things are running through my mind at the moment. But anyways, the press cannot tell you who the president-elect is. But what's been going through lately, and the things that have been happening is that they had, people be talking about Dominion, talking about the Striker company, and this what is it, Smart something, that is a Venezuelan company that was actually that's actually based in Frankfurt, Germany. What they did was they sent special forces out there to Germany, and come to find out that they found the servers, and now they have the actual proof that this election itself was actually a fraud, was actually a cheat. The reason being it is because the Dominion program that was used on these voter machines, it has a lot of back doors. You can have back doors dealing with putting in flash drives or them even online. Now people are sitting there saying about flash drives. How can you put a flash drive on a voting machine and flip the votes? Well, check this out, right? If y'all go back like a few years ago, they used to have these little flash drives, like these little Cricket flash drives, these Metro flash drives, even Verizon and AT&T had them. And they were little flash drives that went into the USB of your computer that actually puts your computer online. Now imagine you putting one of those little flash drives inside of a voting machine. Then what happens is that all of its diagnosis, the programs and all that stuff like that, and the votes will be on the internet, so you can actually hack them remotely. Because everybody knows that the machines themselves, well, a lot of them, you know what I'm saying, are not actually online. What they do is they sit there, they take a hard drive and download a hard drive. But no matter what type of computer or anything that you do have, you have a flash drive port to either take out information or do a diagnostic on it, or upload or update a program into any type of computer or machine, you know what I'm saying, to make it work right, or just an update or whatever like that. So anyways, as the rhyme goes on, as we can see, that the people that was down with the Dominion program, which we're saying like George Zorro, or I don't want to say George Soros, and we have we have a Clinton Foundation, some cats that are actually that's inside of our government that has office, that it looks like another like pay to play or something like that. And all this was happening. And as I see, some people are going on because they don't even want to hear. But you know what? It's the truth. It's the truth. You know, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and go in there and sit there and spit down lies down your throat. Saying that, oh man, you're just mad because Trump didn't win and the votes and stuff like that, but because he didn't have enough votes. I says, look, all right, let's really think of this. Think about it. Joe Biden had more votes than Hillary Clinton. Joe Biden has not even campaigned like Trump did. Joe Biden can't fill a high school gymnasium even though they had circles and social distancing, but let alone Donald Trump, 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000 people at his rallies, at every single one he went to, filling stadiums in the off election and all that just for the rallies when he's trying to do that. Not saying that I'm sitting there, I'm all on Trump's dick. I mean, let's just be honest, okay? I'm not all on Trump's dick. You know what I'm saying? He's not my idol. He's not my God. He's not my savior. You know what I'm saying? What I sat there and I voted for was strictly policy. Yes, I like the fact that he came off real and stuff like that and said what he thought because he did not speak like a politician. But at the same time, you have Biden coming out, right? Now he has big tech, CEO of Google and all that stuff like that coming into his administration, which will tighten the grip on us, on social media, on these public platforms that think they're publishers and all that stuff like that. And people are just sitting there basically just opening up their butt cheeks and taking it in their anus on a real deal. Let's just be honest, okay? And then you have some people saying, well, they can do that. They can't do that. When you looked at my show last night, you know what I'm saying? Thank you for the viewership. Also, thank you for the new subscribers that came out. I really, really appreciate that. And as it goes on, people are like in a sense of denial, and it really, really makes me wonder is where are people's moral standpoints? Where are they? Where are their moral boundaries? I mean, I'll be honest with you. I do not condone abortions. I am pro-life. I don't believe in the killing of babies. I don't believe in taking God off of our money. In God we trust. I don't believe in taking God out of our Pledge of Allegiance. I don't believe in taking God out of anything because this right here, this country was based on a Judeo-Christian format. The Constitution is based on it. This country was made for the people, by the people, and we got to really sit there and understand what for the people and by the people really means. This election was a circus. It was a circus. There's a lot of dirt going on in my home state, Pennsylvania, Allegheny County. Shout out to all y'all. And also this was happening in Michigan. Also, at the same time, this was happening in California. Also, this was happening in Texas. This was happening in Nevada, Arizona, North Carolina, Georgia. All right, all these votes are sitting there coming back. All these votes, all these votes were, a lot of the votes were fake. A lot of votes were made by dead people. There were some that were kids, some people that were voting in different states, and then come to find out. I mean, from different states other than the states that they were in. And I mean, and you know what? I mean, this is just crazy. This is very. I just can't believe that we as a people today, the United States of America, will sit there and take the word of some dishonest, take the word of dishonesty and make that a truth. As I said before, um, up is down, down is up, good is evil, evil's good. You know, it's like a complete reversal of all of our moralities and stuff like that. And, you know, it's sad, and I pray about it every single day, man. I really do. And and it's crazy how even people when you have friends, you know what I'm saying, that you love dearly and all that stuff like that, that they turn on you or they they turn on you or they think you're crazy and therefore the immorality of this nation because in all aspects, man, this nation really has to repent. Now, as I sit there and I look at it as a regular person uninfluenced by anybody, the way I am seeing this right now, that Trump got a very, very good case. You know, I mean, due to the facts and all that stuff like that that's been put down, which I will show you inside this show. This is just a little monologue and stuff like that, just to tell you what's going on. Also, I'll be showing you inside Germany. There was a YouTuber. It was like this Dr. Vaughn something, which I have the video. I have the video inside my archive. And what he was doing, and what's happening in his country, is that remember, Germany is not Germany anymore. Germany is part of the EU. They all have the same currency. I used to live there in Germany. I lived in Germany for 2 years. And I'm going to tell you what, man, it's a beautiful country. And I've seen all of Europe when the countries were countries, not part of this EU thing. But anyways, I have a video up. I found this source on Just Informed Talk, and there was a video that's probably deleted and stuff like that by now. But there was a YouTuber that was basically doing the same thing that I was doing, telling the truth, what's happening in the EU, what's happening with the government. You know, basically Merkel's like another Biden, Obama, Bush, Clinton. You know what I'm saying? She's corrupt as fuck. You know, she's been a president for God knows how long, well, prime minister how long of Germany. But the thing that sat there and happened was that while he was doing his live YouTube broadcast, the police was there. They called their police the Polizei. They came in, broke into his house, and arrested him for telling the truth. Now, this right here is happening in Germany. Now, this right here can even happen here in the United States because we're just, as I said before, we're sitting there just spreading our butt cheeks and taking it up the ass. We as Americans. But let alone is due to the fact that these people, they don't even have guns. They can't even defend themselves. And at the same time, as I'm looking at it, you know what I'm saying? We're just getting into this game. Meanwhile, people in Germany, people in Europe are getting taken out of their homes just for telling the truth. Now, everybody's thinking that this censorship is bad, which it is bad, and I don't agree with it, and it does piss me off. But how would you like if you're sitting there, you're telling the truth, you're on Facebook, you're even face chatting, messaging, and all that stuff like that, and then the cops come, the feds come, and sit there and just bust inside your blame house, arrest you in front of you, your kids, and your family, and all that, and possibly, you know, I mean, knowing me, I'd be honest with you on this instance, I'd probably resist arrest and wind up getting shot. I'm just going to be real with you because I'm not going to bow down. I gives two fucks. At least this is for a good reason. Or they sit there and come out, or they come bust in your house and try to confiscate your weapons, which was videos on that during Katrina. There's a lot of videos on that, probably deleted, but people probably still have them archived and all that, But this stuff did happen. This stuff is happening, and it's going to happen here if we don't wise up. On a for real, I mean, I mean, it's the truth. It's as true as I can get it. So, anyways, what I'm going to do is I'm going to sit there and show you, all right, what happened. Okay, what happened in Frankfurt, Germany. Okay, what happened in Frankfurt, Germany? As soon as I find it. All right, cool. All right, this video coming up, I'm getting ready to put on. All right. One second. You want to check this out? This is Just Informed News. Just Informed News. It was a cat named oh shit, I forgot his name is Craig, and he used to do this. He used to do a YouTube channel, and it was called Just Informed Talk. And what he did was a lot of Q posts and all that stuff like that, which is coming to fruition. Just to let you know, there's a lot of confirms dealing with Q. But anyways, this post right here, as you can see, I'm putting it right here. This guy, his name was Dr. Von, well, wait, Dr. Andreas Nowak. All right, he's from Germany, and let's see I'll put this up. He's from Germany, and what happened was that after unconstitutional approval of election law, all right, of infection law. So he was talking about the COVID virus because they're locked down. They can't go to the store. They can't go to the stores. They can't go out. They can't have more than a few people inside their houses. Only thing they can do is go to the blame grocery store, get gas. I don't know about them working or anything like that. But what they were doing, as they said, as is Caesar Sketty. You can look at this on Twitter. This happened to Dr. Andreas Noak in Germany after unconstitutional approval of the infection law. It Police broke into his house while he was having a live transmission on YouTube. Those who cried against fascism have created the most criminal dictatorship in history. Now, this is happening in Germany. So, you know what? Let's take a look. Let's sit here and take a look and see what happened.
Entschuldigung, Entschuldigung kurz. Entschuldigung, hier, die Polizei ist gerade da. Die Polizei ist gerade da.
Polizei is the police.
Ja.
Und jetzt?
Mach mal bitte auf. Ja, ich weiß nicht, was los ist.
Das ist doch gerade
Ich
schön.
weiß nicht.
Guck mal, wir haben vorhin über Angst gesprochen.
Moment, hier ist gerade die Polizei, bricht gerade die Tür auf.
Polizei! Ich will die Hände sehen! Auf den Boden, runter, beide! Runter auf den Boden! Geh runter!
And that's what we have to look forward to in America once Joe Biden were to take office, or any Democrat really, because it will become that level of censorship, and they will be breaking down your door as you're doing a live stream on YouTube, speaking your First Amendment rights into the microphone, and they will put you on the floor and they will march you off into a prison, never be heard from again, just like communist China, because that's what the big tech globalists and oligarchs in Silicon Valley want for our nation. That's what they're forming in our nation, and that's what they really want for their end goal, is to be able to lock us up for speaking out against them. So pray for us all, support those who stand up against this, and remember that myself and others have been completely banned off of platforms for speaking the truth, and that should tell you something in and of itself.
Now that right there happened in Germany. All right, this is real, folks. This is real. This is happening in other countries, and y'all say, oh, it can't happen here. It can't happen here. They're going through the same thing that we're going through right now. It just hasn't got that bad. Germany with their shootings, the Europe with their terrorist attacks, with people getting shot, Christians getting shot. People just getting killed randomly out there in Europe. And while we're sitting here being complacent, thinking that this can never happen here because it hasn't happened here, when technically it has happened here. Dealing with what happened in Portland, Oregon, what was happening in Seattle, Washington with Chaz, You know, the riots that were started by Antifa, BLM over at the MAGA march. You know, the killing of Trump supporters, killing of a friend of mine's affiliate out in Detroit, that he was shot dead in front of a store. A black Trump supporter, you know, shot dead. You know, people running up on the cops and shooting them, trying to kill them, and I mean, this is demonic. All this right here is straight demonic, man. We really got to sit there and just wake up, smell the fucking coffee. You know what I'm saying? And start loving our neighbors for who they are, not just for the color of their skin. All right, and I really stress this, man. You know, I'm a black man myself, and I'm saying it. I have nothing against nobody, no hate. If you saw the video last night, it was a pretty interesting video that happened. One of my friends, Conspiracy Box, and he brought his friend, Dr. Reggie Desmond, I think that was his name, and we had a long conversation about racism and stuff like that. And there's one thing I can sit there and say and respect about him, that we do have a mutual respect for each other for our views. So if we at least come to an understanding of having a respect for our views on different issues, you know what I'm saying? Well, and some people, if you're white, well, he's racist. Well, I know a lot of black racists. I know a lot of white racists. I know Asian racists. I know there's racists in every single culture and nationality. But if you have the moral and the integrity to agree to disagree and just leave it there, I have more respect for him than any other person that does any type of racist remark. At least he came to the table and he had a ball to sit there and talk about his discriminations and stuff like that. So bravo to him for even coming out there and having the courage to even come out and say what he had to say. I respect that. This is what it's all about. It's all about dialogue. You know, I mean, this is crazy, man. I mean, we're at the point now that we can't even proclaim the name of Jesus Christ on Facebook. We can't write the Lord's Prayer on Facebook. What's going to happen? What else is going to happen? Is that's considered hate speech? What hate did Jesus Christ ever commit? Written. You know, if it's going to be like that, you might as well take away. You might as well take away. You might as well take away free speech. You might as well take away all that, all of it. You know, I mean, you just might as well. And it's very, very, very crazy that all this happens. You know, and it's sad. It's very, very sad. And we just got to, you know, come to we just all have to come to the table. Now, also, we have another video dealing with the facts on this religion, on this election and election fraud. As I said earlier, today we had a press conference from the attorneys from the Trump administration, Giuliani, and I keep on forgetting the other woman's name, but she's the one that defended Flynn and stuff like that. If some of y'all don't know the Flynn story or anything like that, then please look it up, or else if you want me to do a show about it, I'll actually do a show about it. But let's take a look on this, how to rig an election. I mean, not how to rig an election. The video from, from the press conference. And let's take a look at what she has to say.
What we are really dealing with here and uncovering more by the day is the massive influence of communist money through Venezuela, Cuba, and likely China in the interference with our elections here in the United States. The Dominion voting systems, the Smartmatic technology software, and the software that goes in other computerized voting systems here as well, not just Dominion, were created in Venezuela at the direction of Hugo Chavez to make sure he never lost an election after one constitutional referendum came out the way he did not want it to come out. We have one very strong witness who has explained how it all works. His affidavit is attached to the pleadings of Lynn Wood in the lawsuit he filed in Georgia. It is a stunning, detailed affidavit because he was with Hugo Chavez while he was being briefed on how it worked. He was with Hugo Chavez when he saw it operate to make sure the election came out his way. That was the express purpose for creating this software. He has seen it operate, and as soon as he saw the multiple states shut down the voting on the night of the election, he knew the same thing was happening here, that was what had gone on. Now, the software itself was created with so many variables and so many back doors that can be hooked up to the internet or a thumb drive stuck in it or whatever. But one of its most characteristic features is its ability to flip votes. It can set and run an algorithm that probably ran all over the country to take a certain percentage of votes from President Trump and flip them to President Biden, which we might never have uncovered had the votes for President Trump not been so overwhelming in so many of these states that it broke the algorithm that had been plugged into the system. And that's what caused them to have to shut down in the states they shut down in. That's when they came in the back door with all the mail-in ballots, many of which they had actually fabricated. Some were on pristine paper with identically matching perfect circle dots for Mr. Biden. Others were shoved in batches. They're always put in a certain number of batches, and people would rerun the same batch. This corresponds to our statistical evidence that shows incredible spikes in the vote counts at particular times, and that corresponds to eyewitness testimony of numerous people who have come forward and said they saw the ballots come in the back door at that time. Notably, the Dominion executives are nowhere to be found now. They are moving their offices overnight to different places. Their office in Toronto was shared with one of the Soros entities. One of the leaders of the Dominion project overall is Lord Malloch Brown, Mr. Soros' number 2 person in the UK, and part of his organization. There are ties of the Dominion leadership to the Clinton Foundation and to other known politicians in this country. Just to give you a brief description of how this worked, I'm going to quote from a letter that was written, and I will read that to make sure I get the quotes right. This person was objecting to the United States acquisition of Sequoia voting systems by Smartmatic, a foreign-owned company. I believe this transaction raises exactly the sort of foreign ownership issues that CFIUS is best positioned to examine for national security purposes. It's undisputed that Smartmatic is foreign-owned and it has acquired Sequoia. They keep changing the names as they go along. Different times when a problem comes up, they just create another corporation and call it a different name. But it was a voting machine company doing business in the United States. Sequoia voting machines were used to record over 125 million votes during the 2004 presidential election in the United States. Smartmatic now acknowledges that Antonio Mujica, a Venezuelan businessman, has controlling interest in Smartmatic, but the company has not revealed who all the Smartmatic owners are. According to the press, Smartmatic's owners are hidden through a web of offshore private entities, and that is in fact true. Smartmatic has been associated with the Venezuelan government led by Hugo Chavez, which is openly hostile to the United States, and of course, as we all know, communistic and really brutalizing its own people. The system has been continued there by Mr. Maduro and ensured his election. Smartmatic's possible connection to the Venezuelan government poses a potential national security concern in the context of its acquisition of Sequoia, because electronic voting machines are susceptible to tampering, and insiders are in the best position to engage in such tampering. This letter expresses concern of the Chicago 2006 primary election. And it ends by saying the products and services that are of Venezuelan origin, and evaluate Smartmatic's ownership to determine who could have influence and control over these and other Sequoia products and services are important to the national security of the United States. This letter was written to Hank Paulson on October 6, 2006 by Congresswoman Carolyn B. Maloney. Senators Klobuchar and Warren have raised these concerns as recently as December 2019. Why our government has not taken them seriously is beyond my comprehension, unless they have, some of the three-letter agencies have used them themselves in other parts of the world. We know that the technology was exported to affect an election in Argentina. That's admitted by our friend who wrote the affidavit about Hugo Chavez and his interest in Smartmatic. Again, in 2006, Carolyn Maloney wrote the Honorable John Snow, the Secretary of the Treasury, about the issues. Speaking of Smartmatic's leadership, one of the Smartmatic patent holders, Eric Coomer, I believe his name is on the web as being recorded in a conversation with Antifa members saying that he had the election rigged for Mr. Biden, nothing to worry about here, and they were going to F Trump. His social media is filled with hatred for the president and for the United States of America as a whole, as are the social media accounts of many other Smartmatic people. There has been widespread use of this. Dominion itself is utilized in 2,000 jurisdictions in 30 states. It has been uncertifiable in multiple states who realized all the problems that it had, including Texas. Experts have described it across the board, from a Princeton group of 3 professors to experts that we have talked to about its end user vulnerabilities. People can admittedly go in and change whatever they want. They can set the ratio of votes from one thing to another. They can say that a Biden vote counts as 1.25 and a Trump vote counts as 0.75. And those may be the numbers that were actually used here. It's not just the swing states that were affected. The algorithm was likely run across the country to affect the entire election. Like I said, we only discovered it this year because of the overwhelming number of votes for President Trump in the swing states that caused the machines to have to shut down for them to backfill for adding votes.
Now, to backfill and to add votes. All right? Now, if you sat there and you watched this election, right? And we see the numbers and all that stuff come out. Right? All right. We seen all the numbers and all that stuff come out. And what was very, very crazy about the whole situation is that in generalization, that there was a big spike that went up. You know what I'm saying? And this was like, oh boy, let's see. I was watching it, and what's his name was watching it when he was taking over. Well, I seen the cheat 2 hours before it. You know, and 2 hours before everything was going on, because I just thought it was too close. And there was a big spike. It was after all the polls closed, and then when everybody was asleep, all of a sudden there was a spike up that went straight up inside of a line, and that was impossible. That was the straight impossible for all that to happen, you know. And And then was Dominion, you know what I'm saying? And what was that company's name again? Let me go back real quick. Hold on. I keep on forgetting the company. Hold on, let me go back to.
There's Eric Coomer, I believe his name is on the web as being recorded in a conversation with Antifa members saying that he had the election rigged for Mr. Biden, nothing to worry about here, and they were going to F Trump.
Like
His
Seiko.
social media is filled with hatred for the president and for the United States of America as a whole, as are the social media accounts of many other Smartmatic people.
Smartmatic.
There has been widespread use of this. Dominion itself is utilized in 2,000 jurisdictions in 30 states. It has been uncertifiable in multiple states who realized all the problems that it had, including Texas. Experts have described it across the board, from a Princeton group of 3 professors to experts that we have talked to about its end user vulnerabilities. People can admittedly go in and change whatever they want. They can set the ratio of votes from one thing to another. They can say that a Biden vote counts
Collier,
as
that's the name of it.
1.25 and a Trump vote counts as 0.75. And those may be the numbers.
So point 1.25 and 0.75. Okay? So if it's 1.25 and 0.75, right? That's a problem. That's cheating. So if it's 1.25 and 1.75, then that right there is straight out cheating. No matter how you look at it whatsoever, that right there is just unreal. Unreal. You know, I mean, how could this happen? How could this actually happen? All right. I'll get this back real quick. All right.
That were actually used here. It's not just
4 years ago, 4 years ago, during the Trump administration and all that they said the Trump administration was cheating, and it was because of the Russians. Hillary Clinton herself sat there and said that it was Russian, it was Russian interference with the 2016 election. 4 years later, we have our election now, and now they said that the Democrats, the left, the liberals, cancer culture, whatever you want to sit there and call it, right, is saying that, oh, the election is pretty fine. I mean, I've even had people sit there and call me on my blame phone. I have people sit there and write me a whole long paragraph on why Biden won, that we should just sit there and we should just suck it up, and that's the way it is. How can dead people vote? How can kids vote? How can a 120-year-old, there's not a man on this planet to be a 120-year-old that can sit there and vote, or that's coherent at 120, 110, 105, whatever like that. I mean, and it seems like, you know, people in generalization just don't have no common sense. Like, there's lack of common sense, comprehension, and context. And it's proven to me over and over and over again, talking to people about different things that's happening, and like think, McFly, think. And it's crazy. It's nuts. You know, I mean, we gotta really, really like look at ourselves, look inside the mirror, man, and really find out, what do you support? You know what I'm saying? This is what I support as a person, as a human being. All right, I'm going to put my color to the side. Number one is, I just want the government to leave me the fuck alone. All right, let me live my life, say what I want, and if I feel that something is wrong, that we should come to the table and have a discussion. You know what I'm saying, about what we disagree with, or come to a happy minimum of what we agree with. Now let's get an example. All right. this is my point of view on abortion. All right, I'll use abortion because that's a very very big topic to the feminists and all that stuff like that. All right. Number one, I do not condone abortion. I think it's against God and I think it's murder. Period. Cross the board. Point blank. The argument on the feminist side, well, this is, this is my body, my choice. All right. Okay, your body, your choice. I can agree with that. But you know what? My tax dollar, my tax paid by my tax dollars is not going to pay for your abortion. If you want an abortion, let that blood be on your hands, not mine indirectly. Solved. I'm not going to stop anybody from doing what, because everybody got their freedom of choice. I don't condone it. I will not condone it. I will never ever condone it. But if the feminists, the left, the pussy hat wearers, and all them cats, they're sitting there saying, my body, my choice, then you pay for it out of your own fucking pocket. Point blank. All right? Then we have no problems. Then the blood is not indirectly on my hands because I didn't vote for it. I don't think my money should go toward it. I think that if you want an abortion, it should come out to your pocket and we should defund Planned Parenthood. Done. That's where I stand on it. On the abortion. Now, here comes Biden talking about the vaccines and all that stuff like that, right? All right. I'll use that as an example. We'll role play this. Okay? I refuse to take the vaccine because now I'm saying my body, my choice. Whatever goes into my body, I'm in control of it. All right? Oh, well, that's not the same. No. Hey, on your side, you say whatever takes out your body, so something got to go in to take it out your body. All right? So, excuse me. So this right there should actually go with me. My body, my choice. I'm not going to be forced to take a vaccine if Joe Biden's in office. I will not. They'll have to kill me first. You know what I'm saying? Then there's nothing they can do. Because me personally, to my spiritual belief, I think this is an introduction to the beast system. What was actually written in Revelation 13. I'm going to stay strong to that. I'm going to stand on that, and I don't have a fuck to give to anybody else who thinks differently than me. Me. I'm not talking about anybody else. All right? I'm not talking about anybody else. Me, myself, and I, the way I feel, my soul, my body, my spirit. You know, if other people sit there and agree with it, cool. Then we have something in common. If you don't agree with it, oh well, suck the shit up. You know what I'm saying? And you who do believe in the vaccines, and you who do believe in this globalism thing and all that stuff like that, and you want to sit there and force and impose this fascist ideology, you know what I'm saying, to us, we the people, me, the person, Jay Da Vinci, then you know what? I ain't going to have it. Then that's something to fight for. You know what I'm saying? Because no one's going to force anything on my body. I don't even have a tattoo on my body because it's against my spirituality. You know what I'm saying? Because I believe that we shouldn't mark our bodies. It's bad enough, you know, I got my ears pierced. But other than that, I don't got one tattoo. No name, nothing. I've thought about it, but you know what? I've never done it. Not because I don't think they're nice. Yes, you know, man, I do. I ain't gonna lie to you. Some tattoos I see people have, awesome artwork, you know. But due to my faith and my belief in God, I wouldn't do that myself. I just don't want that held against me. That's it. It's bad enough that I got both of my ears pierced. You know? That's it. And we got to stop imposing these ideals on people. You know what I'm saying? Just because you feel a certain way doesn't mean that I have to feel a certain way. And what this cabal is doing, what these globalists are doing, these elitists are doing, is they're imposing their law upon you and at the same time not following the law themselves. I'm going to call it out. I'm going to call a spade a spade. This has nothing against, it has nothing, this is nothing about race. This is nothing about color. This is nothing about religion. This is out, straight, plain out action. And I believe that. I believe that. I believe that. I know it. I feel it. And it's logically sound. No emotion whatsoever. None. Zero. Zilch. You know what I'm saying? Walking that straight, thin line on what's happening, on what people are saying, and how things are coming to fruition. It's nuts. It's crazy. Then what was fucking really ridiculous about this press conference, since we know about Dominion, the smart thing, that smart program that Venezuela, no, excuse me, the Dominion programming and the companies Sequoia and Smart whatever it is, you know what I'm saying? That this was based in Germany, and it's a Venezuelan company, right? That used to mess with that was in close ties with Chavez, and you know what happened in Venezuela. You know they're fighting for their freedom. You know that they're sitting there eating their animals and eating animals in a zoo and stuff like that because they don't have no food, no nothing like that because their government took it all. And a few years ago, they were the richest country on the planet. I could bring my friend, Political Avenger. She's from Blame Venezuela. I can call her up right now, send her a Blame link. She'll get on and she'll tell you about what happened with Venezuela because she's Venezuelan. All right? Her parents came here. All right? During when all that was happening. She's from there. She got her citizenship legally. You know, dear friend of mine. You know? I mean, she's one of the people that got me started in doing stuff like this. You know? And also then going on Thick Skin Only on Maurice Delk's channel. You know what I'm saying? Became for me. I mean, there's so many friendships of like-minded, black people, white people, Mexican people, Arabic people, all these different type of people with the same heart, same mind. Some of the people that I've met they're completely stupid and irrational. It doesn't mean I hate them. I don't agree with their thoughts. I don't agree with their mentality or their morals. But at least people like Mo, people like me, we give them a platform to speak their mind. Yes, they may be countered. Yes, they may go out of line. Yes, they may be corrected. But you know what? Then it comes right down to it. We are the publishers of our own platform. So what we say goes on ours. Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. This is to y'all. You are the line of a public platform. You are not a publisher. We the ones that's actually pressing the button and publishing our content. We are the publishers of our content. You are not the publishers of our content. We choose to use your platform for for we can use our content to be the publishers of our content. We are the publishers, we are the editors of our content. Only thing you are is the line. Point blank. Point blank. You know? And also, pretty soon, in 25 minutes, I'll be going off. You'll be seeing me going on Mo's channel and talk a little bit more about these different subjects and stuff like that. But I'll be signing off in about 25 minutes. Make sure you see me on oh man, I gotta find on Maurice Delk. Maurice at YouTube, Thick Skin Only. I will be on periodically, stuff like that. And shout out to my boy, all love Maurice Delk. One of the craziest brothers I know, but also one of the most honest brothers I know. And also, again, like I said last night, I thank him because he inspired me to sit there and do this just by being on his platform. So, salute to you, Maurice Delk and Thick Skin Only. Now, I mean, as we were saying about being a publisher, okay, we are the ones who publish on our channels. Our channels is our platform, okay? But YouTube, Facebook, Twitter are public platforms. Stay in your fucking lane. Point blank. Stay in your lane. You know, you have no right, just because you're hiding between Article 230, and I've read the article, and there's nothing inappropriate, nothing doing with killing anybody inappropriate, nothing like that. Nothing. So you just gotta leave us alone on the for-real. Leave us alone. Or else, you know what? The worst place to hurt y'all, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, it will hurt you inside of your pocketbook. There's Rumble, there's BitChute, there's Minds, Gab, MeWe, all these other platforms that we can sit there, because you know what? If we sit there and move off of your platforms, which is happening, so it's not going to be long, because you Facebook, you YouTube, you Twitter will be in a dust like MySpace. You know, that's what's going to happen. And where do you think all your advertisement and your funding is going to go to? These other platforms. Why? Because these other advertisers and these companies want to make money. If they can't make money on your platform, then they will leave your platform. It's still a capitalist society. But wait. Y'all may have some of these corporations that are backing you to try to brainwash the public. Yeah, I said it. And I gives two fucks. You know? I mean, you know. Does everybody know how many class action lawsuits that are going against these public platforms that's trying to play us like they're publishers? They got lawsuits out of the yin yang. Yesterday, I sat there and showed you the pivoting answers of what Mark Zuckerberg was saying in his hearings. That he didn't even know that a company called Task is harvesting our personal information, what we post, our personal messages, and all that stuff like that. And to all you women that sat there, may I be honest with you, that sending naked booty pictures and all that stuff like that, you know, they have them. They have them. So suppose you sit there and just suppose for God for some reason you decide to go to you decide to go do a public office or something like that. All right, and Biden is in office. All right, Biden's in office, and you got a big campaign. You're getting all this money. Everything's going good, knowing that you have all the tech all the tech gurus are part of the Biden administration. All right, all the mainstream media gurus are part of the Biden administration. All right, which Biden ain't gonna be there, so they don't be Kamala Harris. All right, who jailed lots of black people. All right, and you're running for an office, and you're the most popular person on the face of the planet, the most popular person on the face of the planet. All right, you in your whole area. All of a sudden, pictures of you, butt ass naked, spread eagle, showing everything. You know what I'm saying? Kids see it. Your mom sees it. Your uncle see it. Your cousins see it. Everybody sit there and sees it. And it just ruins your whole campaign. All that money that was given to you. And then at the same time, they start to lie to you. Lie about you. All right? I mean, this could happen to you. It could even happen to me, which I don't... Shit, I don't got no pictures that I know of. You know what I'm saying? That I know of. And I'll be honest with you, I have none of that. I know I said some things, but I tell you what, everything I said, I'll back it up. If I said something that was a little out of line, you know what I'm saying? And I admit, yeah, I said it, but I don't believe that no more because people grow. And I'm just giving you a hint on how that's supposed to be. But some of these cats, or a lot of them that's in this political forum and in this political era, political forum or this political state in which we are in today, you know, it's these people are still in it. All right, the pedophilia, child trafficking, election fraud, national security fraud, dealing with government secrets. All this different fraud is happening, and it's all connected, and all these people know each other. It's a giant fucking web. You know, it's like living in a small town, and everybody knows your name. Everybody knows your family name. Everybody knows who you're related to. Imagine this in a worldwide syndicate. Imagine it. Imagine all this in a worldwide syndicate, man. You know, on a four-wheel. It's a small community. Remember that song? It's a small world after all. Exactly. All right? There's families. There's these elites. Okay? Only thing they want, you are cattle to them. Straight cattle to them. On a four-wheel. Cattle. You know? And it's sad. It's very, very, very sad. You know? And we gotta, man, we gotta get we gotta get things right, man. We really, really do. You know what I'm saying? We gotta get our priorities right, man. We have to get our priorities right. We gotta get our whole spirituality together, man. Because you know what? A lot of these cats, to be honest, they're lost. They're lost. Okay, there's no saving them. There's no saving them whatsoever. And all these fake ass Christians, fake ass pastors that's sitting there sugarcoating the gospel and all that stuff like that, man. You know what I'm saying? Not telling you. I mean, was also going to get judged. To be honest with you, it's not. I mean, the church, our government officials are going to be judged, And the church is really going to be judged. Because you know what? And I hope, and I really, really do. You know what I'm saying? For all you fake pastors, TD Jakes, you know what I'm saying? That's one. Dollar Bill, whatever they call him. And all these TV evangelists and all that stuff like that is in bed with the beast. Man, I hope y'all lose. I hope y'all lose. You know what I'm saying? I'll go because all these churches are going to burn. Not burn physically, but burn spiritually. God will do the burning. Jesus will do the burning. And I hope people leave in droves and truly realize that the church is within you. That we are the body of Christ. We are the church. We're the what you call it, fulfillment of Jesus' promise to us, as Jesus was the fulfillment of the word of the prophets. We are. All right? It's all coming to play. We see the signs all right in front of our eyes. And y'all just scurrying to twist the truth, twist the Bible, twist the word. It's a dang shame that I had to sit there, man, just for the first 5 books of the Bible. I have to sit there and look to the Torah just to make sure I got it right, because the only thing actually really out there, you know what I'm saying, that is that has a real truthful truth. When you look at the straight translations from Aramaic, Jewish, Greek to English, you know, that even from English you have to go back and look at the words just to make sure you got the right meaning, and sometimes you gotta go all the way back and research Aramaic, research Hebrew, Arabic, just to find the truth. Just to find the truth. That I'm at the point that I don't necessarily fully believe what I read. I mean, come on. All right? Come on, man. There's a gay version of the Bible, and they're saying that is true. All right? I posted that in my other Facebook. A gay version of the Bible. You know what I'm saying? Just destroying it. You know, I mean, I gotta sit there and look at the old Bibles back in the 1920s when they sat there. They had Ruth 2, Maccabees. Then you gotta go through other sources just to look at Enoch. You know, look at Josephus. Look at the Book of Adam. The Book of Mary, which that one isn't even finished. You know what I'm saying? Years and years and years of reading and learning and researching, trying to find out the truth of Scripture. And you know what? I don't even got it all right. I don't. I ain't gonna lie to you. I like it. I can say I don't got all right, but I tell you what, Joe, I got a better idea of what's going on. As I always say, very well, my faithful servant, for you have done well in only a few things. Thank God only a few things I've done good in, because the rest of the shit sucks. I'm thankful for that. You know, I mean, I am thankful for that. I'm thankful for the few things on this planet that I am doing right. Because a lot of stuff anymore, because I'll tell you, I'll be honest, is that the world gets very, very confusing. The world gets very, very confusing. You're fighting with your flesh and your spirit. You're fighting with the knowledge that's coming in, trying to discern it. You're praying for discernment. You're praying for the Holy Spirit, but still the flesh still fights you and still brings you down. Still brings you down. But then you have these high and mighty Christians and all that stuff like, oh, I love Jesus, I love God, I love everybody, and all that stuff like that. Oh, I have faith, and you're still wearing a fucking mask. But you have faith in Jesus Christ, right? You have faith in God, right? You're a quote-unquote Christian, right? Why the fuck you wearing a mask if your faith is so blame strong? That does nothing. It goes to my friends. It goes to my family, and it goes to my parents especially. My parents especially, because they're the ones that taught me this. They taught me to stand on this rock. They taught me to look at these blame signs. They taught me. And now I sit there and I look at them. And I'm like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Do as I say, not as I do. So that is that a true statement? I'm not downgrading them on their belief. I'm downgrading them on their faith. Believing is one thing. Having faith is a completely different program. And y'all wolves, not sheep, wolves. Wolves. Bowing down to this beast system. Yeah, I said it. Wolves. A sheep is in high esteem inside the Bible, referred as a flock. Feed my sheep. Sheep belongs to God. Sheep belong to Jesus, the good shepherd. And y'all sitting there saying, and Christmas is coming up. Thanksgiving's coming up. What are y'all really thankful for? Huh? What are you thankful for when we as a people are on the verge of losing what we should be thankful for? Riddle me, please. Riddle me. As I told y'all before, I'll tell you again. I am peeling the onion of humanity, because it has to be done, and it stinks. It really, really stinks. You know, it smells like shit. But I don't care. Because you know what? I'm peeling my own too. I'm looking in the mirror too. I'm not just talking to you. I'm looking in the mirror at myself as well. As well. Let's proceed with this fraud. You know? Let's see how the devil actually really works. I was watching this, and this is like the last part. I want to see if it's the last part of it before I close out.
There's no evidence. Sydney was giving you information that come from affidavits from other people.
All right.
That's why you see massive spikes after hours when people were told that all the votes were in and all the votes were counted. The world is watching this. I have gotten multiple emails from people in other countries who watched the same pattern happen there. We have witness testimony that the same
We are not
things
alone in
were
this,
done
man.
in those countries, as this was exported from Venezuela and by Maduro and by Mr. Chavez and by Cuba.
Well, let's get to the questionings of
course,
what the
we know
media
China
said.
also
That's
has
this was a good part.
Counted in Germany and in Spain by a company owned by affiliates of Chavez and Maduro. Did you ever believe that was true? Did any of you here believe that that was possible? Of course it's not. Of course it shouldn't be possible. I don't know if we're going to have time to develop all that in time to fill the requirements of all these cases. We have enough evidence without that to over.
In terms of the level of corruption.
Now here's the
you're
devil at
looking
work.
here,
Watch,
we have
watch
no
this press.
idea how many Republican or Democratic candidates in any state across the country paid to have the system rigged.
These are wolves
to
right
work
here.
For them. These people didn't do this just to take control. They make one heck of a lot of money off of it. Think about the global interests behind your own news organizations. Think about the pressure being brought to bear from the social media companies to shut down free speech on any challenge to the election. This is a massive, well-funded, coordinated effort to deprive we the people of the United States of our most fundamental right under the Constitution to preserve this republic that we all cherish.
Yep.
It is of the greatest concern. It is the 1775 of our generation and beyond.
Sydney, speaking
Yes.
of votes being held and processed, tabulated overseas, there's reports that there was a piece of hardware, possibly a server, picked up in Germany. Is that true, and is it related to this?
That is true. It is somehow related to this, but I do not know whether good guys got it or bad guys got
So
it.
we don't know who picked it up.
Why are
Sydney,
you,
I have a
why are you
question
not
on
requesting
Sydney,
a recount in Wisconsin or the counties that use Dominion systems?
I can only hear one person at the time. I'm gonna take the one with the hands raised.
I'm with Just the News. Which
Yes.
is all the outlets. So question for you, Sydney. First, on the issue of the machines, do you plan to have, are you seeking a court order to either seize or subpoena or just to gain access to any of these machines in any of these contested districts? Have you begun that process? And when can we expect a timeline on that? And then for you, Mr. Mayor, you mentioned in Wisconsin and in Michigan these issues of overvoting. Where can we learn more about this? You're saying 150, 200%?
Up to 350% in some places.
Where would we get access to that data? And then to what extent were those people who showed up to vote in person? Because in Michigan, for example, they did allow same-day registration.
Yes, well, the same-day registration causes problems with the vote signature and the registration itself. That's a whole different system that makes it impossible really to validate the signature. I mean, one person could sign the same name. I mean, I could sign John Smith, I could sign Kay Smith, I could sign, on both things and run 50 ballots that way. And we've got some evidence of that being done as well. Rudy, do you want to speak to the other part of it?
Sure. We have now 3 overvote analyses done. One for Pennsylvania, one for Michigan, and one for Wisconsin. We're in the process, Georgia. We're in the process of doing the others. I'll check to see if it's appropriate for us to make it public.
Well,
I imagine it is, but you could actually do it.
Yeah.
You could do it yourself.
a lot of the analysis comes from the real-time data that came through to the news medias the night and following the election. And some entrepreneurs out there have started crunching data themselves in addition to multiple experts who could easily recognize with the mathematical brain that I do not have.
Yep.
The beyond explicable deviations to the point of mathematical impossibility that 186,000 votes come in at once, all for Joe Biden.
Yeah,
That's like
man.
flipping a
You can
coin
look at the chart. You can look at the
186,000
chart.
times, and it lands on heads every time. That does not happen. There is no reasonable explanation for the upshoots, the straight lines up. I'm not even talking about an angle. I'm talking about some massive straight lines up in the vote tallies in the middle of the night after they've supposedly stopped counting. And that's when the Dominion operators went in and injected votes and changed the whole system. And it affects votes around the country, around the world, and all kinds of massive interests of globalist dictators, corporations, you name it. Everybody's against us except President Trump and we the people of the United States of America.
You've spoken of unleashing the Kraken. Is the country ready for this? I mean, Americans should be astonished at what you're saying here today. Is the country on the verge of an electoral breakdown?
We've already had it. We have already had that electoral breakdown. But the Constitution, as Jenna explains, has provisions in it for how you fix this. And there should never be another election conducted in this country, I don't care if it's for local dog catcher, using a Dominion machine and Smartmatic software. We've got to have an American company that uses paper ballots that we can all verify so every one of us can see that our vote is our vote.
Why are you not requesting recounts in Wisconsin counties that use Dominion software? You're requesting recounts in 2 counties that don't use the software at all.
Because this case is not only about, remember, this case didn't begin with Dominion. This case began, and this case can be proven the old-fashioned way. It can be proven based on just good old-fashioned Democratic tactics that go back to Mayor Daley in the 1960s, when he held the vote back in Chicago so that he could elect John F. Kennedy. Or as recently as last year, when they held the vote back in Palm Beach County and Broward County in order to see if they could steal that election for the Senate and governor, and then got caught manufacturing ballots. Democrats have been doing this for years on a small scale. When they passed the mail-in voter statute, which all of a sudden multiplied by 10 times the number of mail-in votes, they realized they could have a field day. They could do precisely what Jimmy Carter and Secretary Baker warned us about. All you have to do is own an election board, and you can get away with it. And unlike what Sydney is talking about, where you could have a paper trail, a paper ballot, I tried to point out to you, the minute that you separate the outer envelope from the ballot, you can no longer trace it, which is why the count, whatever the count in Georgia today is, it's totally ridiculous. They're counting the same fraudulent ballots one more time. And we're still very close.
Genuinely believe you can overturn this election, or is it about something bigger for you?
Well, it is about something. Let's go from the big picture to the smaller picture. The most important thing here is that this has been a massive attack on the integrity of the voting system in the greatest democracy on earth. The people who did this have committed one of the worst crimes that I've ever seen or observed. One of the things we're the most proud of in this country is that we've been such a long-standing democracy based on the right to vote. They have trashed the right to vote. They've dishonored the right to vote. They've destroyed the right to vote.
Word.
And they're greed for power and money.
Yep, that's
And there's
all
no
was it
doubt
about, power and money.
This was not an individual idea
So
of
what's
10
your
or 12
God?
Democrat bosses.
Money
This
or
is a
God?
plan. You would have to be a fool not to realize that. They do the same thing in exactly the same way in 10 big Democrat-controlled, in most cases, crooked city. And when I say crooked city, go look at how many of their officials have gone to jail in the last 20 or 30 or 40 or 50 or 60 years that they have dominated and destroyed those cities. They picked the places where they could get away with it. They picked the places where, whether or not Republicans testified to something, judges would just dismiss it, because judges are appointed politically, and too many of them are hacks. They picked places where they could get a sheriff that refused to enforce a court order. When we got a court order that we could be 10 feet closer, our representatives were told, if you try to do it, I'll arrest you. Part one, it began as a national conspiracy. Clearly, that evidence emerged very, very quickly. The minute I saw that it was the same thing in 10 states, just using logic, I said this can't be an accident. And then what I was surprised about is the dimension of it. I mean, not inspecting almost 700,000 ballots is astounding.
Are you suggesting that Joe Biden was part of that conspiracy? I just wonder what your evidence is.
Honestly, I don't know what Joe Biden is aware of or not aware of. And I mean that as a lawyer, not trying to be cute. I've watched him, I've observed him. I honestly don't know how much he's aware. I don't know how much he decides and how much things are decided for him. So
That's one other thing to your question.
about the process. Your question is fundamentally flawed when you're asking where is the evidence. You clearly don't understand the legal process. What we have asked for in the court is to not have the certification of false results. And so to say, hold on a minute, we have evidence that we will present to the court. We haven't had the opportunity yet to present that
This
to
is
the
when it
court.
gets
We're
good.
giving you an overview and a preview of what we've discovered, but no court yet has we've had that opportunity. So when we have we have fraud allegations pending. So what we've asked for are temporary restraining orders or injunctions to not certify false results. We're very happy that Michigan, the reason we dismissed that lawsuit today is because the Michigan county in Wayne County, they're not going to certify that because 71% of counties have inconsistent data. No person in this room or in this country should want states to rush through and coronate a president with false results. We have to make sure that the results are accurate.
Well,
That's what we will prove.
Two more questions.
The Secretary of State says that can't actually happen, that those votes can't be rescinded, and that the certification in Michigan currently stands.
The Secretary of State where?
Yeah, well, there are problems in Michigan. Follow the money.
Follow the political party, man. I mean, you're actually seriously going to want me to take seriously the Secretary of State of Michigan? When the Secretary of State of Michigan never bothered to find out that the votes in her state were being counted in Germany by a Venezuelan company, and you want me to take her seriously or him seriously? I mean, I was in government. If I were the governor of that state, I'd fire everybody that was involved in this election. They didn't come and tell me that my state was going to be embarrassed, made a fool of, because I'm sending my votes of people in Michigan over to Germany to be counted by a company that is owned by people who are allies of Maduro and Chavez. By the way, Carolyn Maloney, who wrote that, is my congresswoman. A Democrat pointed that out. They didn't do the darndest bit of due diligence. If you bought a $10 million company, you would have done more due diligence than that. Maybe they're incompetent, or maybe they didn't want to know. But you're not going to have me take seriously anything that comes from anyone involved in the election the way it was conducted in Michigan.
You guys are saying that votes can be rescinded if they haven't. The Secretary of State there says that they can't.
The Secretary of State can say whatever she wants to say. Of course she's going to say that. She's a Democrat. She could also credit the affidavits of the two people and say that the board is tied and therefore the vote hasn't been certified. So because she's a Democrat, she's saying that. Do you think she has any credibility, having run the kind of election they ran in Michigan? You think anyone in that government has credibility after using a machine and fooling their citizens? There can't be a person in Michigan who thought their vote was being sent outside the United States so somebody could play with it. I mean, it's disgraceful what the government of Michigan did to its citizens. Absolutely disgraceful.
Mr. Mayor, you have alleged,
Just to go back to the servers, are you going to be able to get your hands on the voting machines or the servers, and are you going to be able to see what, when, where,
We're not, we are limited in what we can do. We're not the FBI. We're not the government. We don't have that kind of subpoena power. We don't have the power to just go subpoena anything we want. The government does. We would have to subpoena it in line with a case. Our first case, we're asking for that authority in Pennsylvania and in Michigan. But you have to get that authority from the court. We're private citizens. We're not the government. If I were the government, like I used to be, there'd probably be a lot of people arrested by now.
Word.
Because there's plenty of probable cause. Plenty of probable cause.
Thank you, everybody.
No. We'll take.
you allege that Donald Trump has won by a landslide. We've seen that a lot of your
Oh, they're laughing. They can't even believe it.
lawyers have been kind of dropping like flies. What do you say to those people who call this a Russiagate 2.0 just on the other side? Why didn't this, and also why didn't this happen?
What fake network do you come from?
I don't come from a fake network. In fact, I am completely independent, have no one above my head.
Oh my goodness. Well, first of all, our cases haven't been dismissed. We only have.
Over 20,
Look at the plaintiffs who are involved in this.
It's not our case, ma'am. Don't lie to people. Ma'am, you are lying. You're lying. You're lying. Well, continue to lie. I'm not gonna. Ma'am. Okay.
Fucking
Let me answer the
wolves,
question.
man.
Let me
Wolves.
answer the question. The answer to the question is, we don't have a lot of lawsuits. We only have 3. Our lawsuits have not been dropped all over the place. Okay, well, you're a totally discourteous person. I'm going to finish my answer. So, I'm going to finish my answer. The fact is we have very, very few lawsuits. The lawsuits you're talking about have been brought by private individuals and groups. Most of them were dismissed for lack of standing, probably correctly, because they were brought before the election took place. The election is now over. The only lawsuit we have withdrawn is the one where we got the relief that we wanted, and that's the one in Michigan. We also have another lawsuit in Michigan that will accomplish the other objectives of what we want to do in Michigan. So it's silly to have 2 competing lawsuits. The only lawyer that left a case left because he was threatened. His family was threatened. His children were threatened. And so was the other lawyer. Yeah, that's true. We have a little difficulty getting lawyers because our lawyers get threatened with being killed.
Yep.
Because of the ridiculous way in which you cover this and the ridiculous way in which you cover. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about everybody, but I get a pretty good sense from the way you handle yourself, how you cover it. All right, we're finished with you now. One last question. One last question from a... One last question. One last question. One last question from a reasonable civil person. Yeah, you are not. Yes. No, her. She isn't. Well, we'll find out.
Oh, there we go.
If the courts don't let you present these cases like Dennis just said, will you give the entire bulk of the evidence to the media to review? And if so, when? Or are you going to drag this thing out like the Hunter Biden hard dragging it?
We're not going to drag it out. I mean, it's ridiculous for you to say we're dragging it out. Well, Al Gore had a lot more time than we've had, and we've had 2 weeks to investigate. So that's also completely unfair to say we're dragging it out. Also, if we're going to present things in court, if we present it to you, judges are not going to be very happy with us. And finally, I have to tell you, our witnesses don't want to be exposed to the tender mercies of a vicious press.
Yeah, the
I
wolves.
have great difficulty getting those witnesses that I did reveal to allow me to do it. They don't trust you. They don't like you. They think you put their lives in jeopardy with the spin that you put on what's going on here and with the unfairness in which you cover it. It's not easy to reveal the things that they tell me.
So the answer is no.
The answer is I can't do it because I can't put a witness's life in jeopardy or a person who thinks their life in jeopardy. This woman tells me we have lawyers dropping out of the case. We have lawyers dropping out of the case because they're being threatened with destruction of their careers, destruction of their livelihood, and in some cases, destruction of their lives. That comes about because of the hysterical way in which you have covered Donald Trump and his administration. But we're going to change all that. We're going to go to courts. We're going to prove it in court. I would love to release all the information that I have. I would love to give it to you all. Except most of you wouldn't cover it. A few of you would. And then we'd have half the American people probably informed. The censorship that is going on in this country right now by big tech and by big media is almost as dangerous as the election fraud that we're revealing. Maybe just as dangerous. We're headed to a very bad place. And it is not inappropriate that a Venezuelan company counted our votes. Thank you.
Now, if y'all don't sit there and believe this, man, I don't know what y'all to believe in. And that's on a for real, man. You know, I mean, I implore y'all to sit there and look at the mirror, look in the mirror, look at yourself, look at your families, look at the people around you, look at the lives that you sat there and you're putting in jeopardy, people's livelihoods. You know what I'm saying? Even people's health from wearing a blame mask. You know, look at it. Look at it, because I'm going to say it. Wearing a mask, you're messing up your own health. Being considerate for others at the expense of your own health. Really? You know, man, I want to tell you what. You know, in all generality, man, I said a lot of y'all out there, man, are just straight idiots. are straight dumbasses, man. Straight dumbasses. I'm not saying to call you that out of being ignorant. You know what I'm saying? I'm calling you that out of love because I know a lot of y'all can be better people than y'all are right now. I'm just saying that because that's the truth. You know? And everything I'm saying, man, is out of love. Because in all essence, man, I love all y'all. I really, really do. I'm not lying to you. I love all of y'all, man. You know? And on that note, man, on a for real, only thing I can sit there and say, man, is like, God bless y'all, and, love your families, love your people, stop the racism, stop the identity politics. You know what I mean? Just stop all the bullshit, man. You really just stop all the bullshit, and that's for real. I mean, that is really, really for real, man. And like I always say, fuck you, Facebook. Fuck you, YouTube. Fuck you, Twitter. Fuck you, Google. Peace. God bless. On a for real, man. And I am out.